Monday the Dietitian, and welcome to Healthy Made Simple, where I show you how to make healthy eating simple. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how I'm going to turn these garlic pieces into some crushed frozen garlic. Now, if you follow my videos, you probably know that I love using frozen crushed garlic in a lot of the food that I cook. It just makes it easier. I don't like having to mince up garlic every single time I'm cooking, and it's a really crucial component to add flavor to a lot of dishes. And typically, I use this brand. I get this one from Trader Joe's. They're little cubes that look like this, and this thing runs anywhere from between $1 to $2 at Trader Joe's, which is relatively reasonable, but I know that I could do this at a much more cost-efficient way. And when I got this chopper as part of a gift exchange over the holidays, I thought this was a sign that it was time for me to start making my own crushed garlic to go in the freezer. And I bought the big bag of fresh peeled garlic from Costco. This bag itself was right around $15, which is pricey, but this is a huge bag. This is 3 pounds of garlic. So taking these, putting them in my chopper, and then freezing it up is going to create a lot more than this and be a much more cost-effective option. So if you're interested to see how you can prep garlic ahead of time so that you have easier options when you are cooking your meals at night, especially during the week when you want to do some quick meals, stay tuned to see how I'm going to turn this 3-pound bag of fresh garlic into some yummy frozen crushed garlic ready to be used for my meals throughout the next at least couple months. Alrighty, let's go.
Alright, so I started this process by chopping off the stems from all of the garlic pieces, and this is by far the most time consuming part of this whole process because there's a lot of garlic pieces to go through. I've seen different people try different things for this. I've seen a lady online that uses a mandolin slicer where she'll slice the stems off, but I don't have one of those and it looked too dangerous for me, so I was okay with just grabbing my small knife and just chopping off the stems. But I did realize that this is actually going to take me a while, and I didn't want to stand around in my kitchen, so I moved my setup to my living room. I plopped myself in front of the TV so I could watch/listen to something while I was working on this. It took me right around an hour to chop off all the stems, and I did use gloves while I was working on this because I did not want my fingers to smell like garlic for days. So some food grade gloves work great for this if you're doing a big batch like I am. And then once I got all the stems chopped off, I was left with this beautiful mountain of garlic pieces that were ready to be crushed/minced/chopped in my chopper. I am using a chopper for this, so I'm not using an actual crusher to make it easier. And with my chopper, I am going to load this up until right around at the top of where the blades are. I don't really have a max indicator on this, so I just load it up to there, and I find that that spins nicely to create the consistency that I'm looking for. And of course, you can go for whatever consistency you like. I'm not editing this part, so you can see how long I actually chop this for to create the consistency you're about to see. If you want to do bigger pieces of garlic, just chop it for, less amount of seconds. But if you're going for right around that kind of crushed minced garlic consistency, right around that much time is how long it took me, and this is what it looked like at the end. So you do have quite small pieces of garlic, which is what I am looking for in my cooking. Alright, so I went through all of my garlic and I ended up with 2 large bowls of crushed/minced garlic. And these are big bowls. These are deep bowls. So I'm showing you a side view and you can see how much garlic there really is. This is truly months and months worth of garlic for me with how much I cook. All right, so I took my Ziploc bags, and I'm using a gallon Ziploc bag here, and I started loading those guys up with the garlic, and I found that one bag was a good portion for one bowl, and I just went through it and loaded this up, and this was pretty therapeutic actually, just to load them up. And about halfway through, I started to spread it out, and I found that you don't really have to do this halfway through. You can actually just load it all up and do it later, but I'll show you what it looked like. I just pushed it down, and eventually this is what you're going for, a nice flat bed of garlic in your Ziploc bag. So I loaded up the rest, and it did not take me too much time at all. This part was really easy, but I wanted to make sure I got all the garlic in there. And this was a nice thickness level in my Ziploc for how much garlic I would typically use as well once I portion this out into little pieces. All right, so once I got everything in there, I spread this out nicely. It was kind of like working with like dough or Play-Doh. It was quite nice to do this actually. And then I zipped up the end and just left a little gap. Now I found that it's really important that you try to get as much air out of this as possible. The more air you have left in there, the more chance you have of it having that kind of frostbite when you pull it out. And you'll see two of my bags, one is slightly different than the other because I got the air out of one of them much better than the other. But after I sealed it up, I still took my time to really smooth it out and create an even surface. If I found any air pockets, I pushed those out from that corner so that I was left with a really nice flat bed of garlic. And I ended up doing this with the second bag as well too. And there we go. We had 2 big bags of crushed garlic. I'm so excited to use all of this. It's going to be a beautiful addition to all my dishes. I don't have to worry about chopping up garlic for months. Amazing. All right, so next what I did was I took one of my knives, and you're going to use the dull edge of your knife here, not the sharp. And I did use my slicer so that it would make it easier for me to be able to see the lines. You really can use any knife here. I mean, anything that really has a straight edge, even a ruler would work for this. But you're basically going to just go down and make lines. And these are going to be the lines where you're going to break off your garlic pieces once it has been frozen. So I'm just scoring it to make it easier to use later on. And I just went down the line, straight lines going down. And then I did the same thing going sideways too until I was left with this. And you'll see I have different size pieces, and that was intentional. I use less garlic sometimes, more garlic other times. So I thought it would be good to have different sizes and not make it all uniform. All right, I did that with my second bag too, and then it was time to freeze. I did put them on a tray so that they would stay nicely flat. You can see my freezer is super full, so for them to stay as flat as possible, I did put them on a tray and stuck them in the freezer. And here they are the next day. Now this is the difference I'm showing you. That top one had a little bit of an air gap in it, maybe because it was on the top too, but then the bottom one, do you see how nicely that looks? No air gaps in that bottom one. It's sealed really nicely, and it froze really nicely too. So make sure you get as much air out as possible. And then when it's ready, you can break it off like this. And this is the next day, so it was still pretty soft actually. It came apart pretty easily. It wasn't like a big crack. Made it very easy to pull it apart. But I'll show you what one of these squares looks like. Here's my beautiful square of crushed / minced garlic. That's going to be a great addition to all of my meals for these next few months. This was an amazing project to do at home.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video helped give you a good idea of how you can take fresh garlic, crush it up, and freeze it so that you have some crushed garlic ready to go throughout the week, and how you can make it a more cost-effective option by buying a big bulk bag of peeled garlic in advance. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't already done so, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more videos like this, where I'll continue to show you how to make healthy eating easy and simple at home. Thanks again, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.